We're coming up to the halfway point of this F125 My Team Career Mode, playing as our owner driver once again. And coming into this episode, we are in very good spirits because of the last race in Montreal. On the last lap, we are fighting for the race lead. Our tyres going off. 3 cars behind us of Albon, Leclerc, Russell, and our medium screaming out at the hairpin into the last sector, side by side, wrestling the car. But for the first time on F125, we saw our own avatar climbing out the car and celebrating a P1, a first race win for Archer Aarava on this game, period. As obviously up till now, this season, we have been playing as real drivers, so great to get that achievement done and to lead the championship after that one ahead of Leclerc, Russell 3rd, Bortoleto 4th, and surprisingly, Verstappen down in P5 after such a strong start to the season. He's had, 2 blips, Canada, Monaco. There was a great comeback drive in the middle of that in Spain, so it's not like the momentum's completely gone from Verstappen, and Austria generally is a very good track for Verstappen in real life. Maybe that'll translate to his AI. But right now, we're showing some great pace in Q1. It's very doom and gloom and overcast right now, but no rain is set to fall here on the Saturday. But there is some forecast for Sunday, so it could be a wet and wild one here around the Red Bull Ring. Bortoleto, Russell, Leclerc join me in the top 4. Verstappen P11, so he's still finding his feet a little bit around this circuit, but it's better than the likes of Hadjar, let's say, that gets knocked out. His teammate just about made it in, and disappointment for Paul Aaron not to make it through as his teammate does, up in P5. So Zach O'Sullivan in the other Williams Porsche, once again showing us the enigma of that Williams car. Like the Ferrari maybe a couple of seasons ago, can qualify well. I assume it'll drop backwards in the race, but I could be surprised. But thankfully, Fittipaldi gets out of the way. This time, a Cadillac gets out of the way. If you recall, in Spain, we almost had a collision in the middle of the race because a Cadillac couldn't get out of the way with blue flags. And in Q2, on cue there, Verstappen joins us and is very close to us there. Not much to separate us, but there you have it. A Williams P1. Again, like in Spain, is he going to get pole position and then go backwards, dare I say, as the usual suspects make it through? Kind of just showing there's a reason why the top 5 is the top 5 you're seeing, because maybe unlike previous seasons, there's been some real bulletproof consistency for these big names that we've got in the top of the standings. I know we just spoke about Verstappen having a bit of a blip, but Leclerc, Bortoleto, Russell, they've all just always been there. We're always fighting them, we're always talking about them in the top 5, and that's why they're right up there with me in the standings. But in Q3, well, maybe the pressure gets to me of needing to consistently perform like those guys, as we have a huge moment at turn 1, and that's also whilst Verstappen crosses the line to go quickest of all. So that's a double whammy of annoyance there for me. We just overdid it. You may have noticed there mid-corner, I try to get power basically here, and I unsettle the car already going into the corner. So putting on the power that early usually would be fine, but because the car was already unsettled, it really just got the back end loose, and so we had to go around again and go again. I basically didn't want to lose time by coming in and losing that tyre set. So even though we only have a little bit of percentage of tyre wear, I thought, okay, let's just go for it. Let's get a bankering, because that takes the pressure off the second lap then. Like, if I'd come in, all the pressure would have been on that last lap on a new set of softs, and that would have been trouble for me, as I think, certainly on this game, we felt the pressure at times in qualifying. We've made quite a few errors here and there over our time in the 6th season, so I'd rather just not leave anything to chance. And our banker lap was pretty damn great, to be honest. I don't know how we've managed that. P4, maybe just showing the cars actually working really well here around the Red Bull Ring. Our second flyer, I mean, thank God we had a banker, because it's a green, but we lost so much time on the exit of Sector 2 into 3 that we didn't actually gain time, and we actually remained in P4 with our time being that first lap that we did. And lo and behold, I was kind of joking, but Zach O'Sullivan on pole. For the second time this season, isn't it? In the Williams Porsche. How much do you want to bet he won't even be in the top 10 by the end of, like, let's say lap 5? Albon in P2. Again, even though he's not been in the frame for the title fight so far, the last few episodes, he's been the stronger Ferrari. Bortoleto down in P8, so is Albon trying to make a case for getting into the title fight maybe in the second half of the season as we go into it. Leclerc joining us just behind us. Russell will be disappointed in P9, but plenty on offer tomorrow with rain as well. Let's go to the grid.
Welcome to the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of this famous race. It's time for the Austrian Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. A fantastic effort from Zach O'Sullivan puts him on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Button, Gasly, Lando Norris and Russell, Lawson, Barnard, Verschoor and Alex Albon, Fittipaldi, Crawford, Charles Leclerc and Martins, Solov, Aaron, Gabriel Bortoleto and Isaac Hadjar, Stroll, Doohan, Maloney and Pepe Marti completes the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Well, we welcome you to the broadcast. It's going to be some race today. First of all, introductions. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me for this one, Anthony Davidson. Okay, the start, so important. Tell us about how you ace a launch off the line.
The drivers these days, they practice, practice and practice. They have rigs with them at the circuit where they can sit down with the actual steering wheel from the real car, and they've got lights that they react to. The clutch paddle is tailored around the driver's hands, around their fingers, so they can have optimum position before they start. So there's so much thought and effort that goes into getting these cars off the line.
So I said rain was on the way. Rain is here for the start of this race. It is going to go, I've seen, from wet to dry though. So this could make things very interesting. It's the first time, I believe, it feels like it, that we've had wet weather racing in this season, driving as ourselves. And certainly the first time we'll have a transition from wet to dry. So with the tyre wear this season that we've had, it's going to be a real question mark of, could we maybe go on this one set to that crossover period, because the weather forecast showed the crossover being halfway through the race, and that is typically around when you would come in for a second set of inters. So I wonder, will that be the question on everyone's minds? Can we go to that point, or will we have to make an earlier pit stop for a second set of inters? Well, it was a bit of a mess in the formation lap there. We line up in P3 because seemingly Albon has a penalty then for engine components. So Ferrari on the back foot there, and so it's O'Sullivan still on pole, but Verstappen now on the front row, surprisingly, as we go to 5 red lights here in a soaking Red Bull Ring. And Verstappen, very familiar with this circuit, gets an excellent start into P1 maybe, as we get dive-bombed by Pierre Gasly. It wasn't the best start for us. Really low grip there because the water's just been sat there for a while. Virtual safety car though into a red flag. What's gone on there? It's a pile-up. We've not even got to turn one there. It's a pile-up before turn one, and good reason for a red flag then, as I think there was a Cadillac that had a DNF and a bit of a ghost train, if you will. And that red flag has completely just wiped out that conversation about the crossover, because the red flag period has brought us to the dry period. We're on mediums, others on hards, as we go to lights out for the second time today. It's very low grip though, because we've only just transitioned from wet to dry. How have we not got damage? How are we not out of the race? We slam the wall as the rear tyres have no purchase on the tarmac, and I'm left drowning in P7 now, fighting the Benetton of Verschoor. We try and make a desperate dive to maybe come back, and we nearly take out Verschoor. We're off circuit. We have to take to the runoff there. I was very worried about O'Sullivan kind of sticking with us, you know, with the tyre locking, as there's a safety car out now. So it's all kicked off in today's race. Only 3 laps, and we've had a virtual safety car, red flag, and now safety car. I don't know what this safety car was for. I looked back at the replays. There was no reason for one, apart from me going off. So maybe the FI threw that out, seeing how I was doing, kind of thinking, okay, maybe it's still a bit too wet and a bit dangerous for everyone to have chosen the dries, but we all made that choice. But the FI maybe feel that's a bit dangerous at this point. So we've gone 2 laps around, on to lap 6 now. The track track is looking, well, basically the same, to be honest. So I don't know if the grip levels are any different as we try and go from the right to the left on Lawson. Certainly we do feel like we have more grip there, because that is night and day to the start we had on that second set of 5 red lights. That was, yeah, I mean, we talk about awful starts in Canada. That was another really awful start. We've actually been having some really difficult ones in the last few episodes as we see both Red Bulls swapping. Russell completely does Gasly, and Gasly looks a little bit slow here, you know. He's got a car issue, I don't know, but we're going to get it down the inside from the left-hander, and we will get up into P3. Gasly looking a bit slow, certainly slower than his teammate, and we push away from him, looking to chase after Russell. But will we still have to look backwards, because obviously the DRS is quite powerful. You get 2 doses of it, but through the corner exit on the last corner, look how much time we gain on Gasly there, 5/10 in one corner. So I suspect Gasly's got an issue there, because yeah, now he's over a second. So yeah, he's definitely got a problem, I think. And we can now focus on trying to close up to Russell, who we are gaining at a rate of knots. So the car working well in a straight line. Downforce-wise on the setup, I didn't put the wings up too much, trying to preempt the wet period. So we've pretty much got a standard dry setup on. So good straight line speed. Maybe the AI have chosen a wetter setup, and we're going to use that to our advantage as we send it on Russell, as we bang tyres. I just wanted to get that move done, because I just feel like we need to make the most of this medium tyre. But Russell really good on acceleration, and this is turned into a scrap and a half as we're swapping positions. We're swapping sides of the track from left to right, right to left, and we're still going at it. Russell maintains the racing line. We have to tuck in for 3rd place. Meanwhile, our engineer's blabbing to us about changing our strategy. Now is not the time, Mark. Now is not the time. We're focused on using this medium, because the 2 Red Bulls on hards, they will have the better race tyre in, you know, a matter of 5-6 laps. So we really do need to ideally get past Russell, just have that track position, lack of dirty air, and also try and chase after our teammate. You know, that'd be ideal, because he's getting away right now with 3 seconds, but Russell is not making this easy. Really defensive. We try and go in for the switchback. Russell blocks it. We hit Russell, because you saw what I was trying there. I was trying to cut in tight to get underneath him, but instead he's just fully blocked us, parked it on the apex, and instead now we're swapping here. Collision warning. That time there wasn't a collision. You just saw there, no contact made on the inside of that right-hander, but we launched it and just tried to control it at the apex to get the move finally done for 2nd. Meanwhile behind, Lawson, Verschoor, Crawford in the Audi running P7. O'Sullivan, well, fair play, he's still in the top 10. It's lap 9, so fair enough. Barnard P9 and Albon P10. So Albon will be very frustrated. He would have liked to have been right up there. Bortoletto as well, P16 for Bortoletto. What's going on there? So maybe a bit of a calamity. Maybe I did a bit of a commentator's curse there, talking about the consistency of Leclerc and Bortoletto. Both of those two are outside the top 10 now, so whoops, maybe that's on me. Maybe that is on me as Russell overtakes us. We have not got rid of him, as my tyres are now starting to wear. And I made fun of Mark asking me about a change of strategy. I honestly might be, changing my strategy. I might be taking his offer up and coming in on the next lap, maybe lap 11 on to 12 at some point, because yeah, these mediums already feel second-hand. There's a swapping going on between Lawson and Verschoor. Verschoor gets ahead of the Honda. The Benetton has had a few difficult races, but right now running in a top 5, looking very good. And again, it's Verschoor, the one up there. Hadjar is down in last place as it's 3 wide between the Mercedes, Ferrari and Williams. Oh, there's a huge pinch. There's a massive problem there for the Mercedes. He's been absolutely no scope from either side. Blimey. Lando Norris didn't have a chance there. He'd been assassinated by the Ferrari and Williams. Cadillac's also been caught up in it, and there's tyres off in the sky, and no wonder that's a red flag. That was incredible. That was crazy. 3 wide into that corner never ends well. And that was probably the worst it could have ended for the car in the middle. So now this is quite interesting, because we can't apparently go to the end on hards, but I fancy just giving us a chance. Like, if we could do it, why not try it? So I'll go on hards, and if we need to, we'll just bail onto the mediums, be on a quicker tyre. Others are thinking the opposite. They're going all on mediums. So I'm the only hard tyre runner here. At this restart, a 3rd set of 5 red lights gets us away. The sun is now coming through as the clouds part, but it's a slow start for us, of course, because we're on the slower compound. Russell nearly gets us. We do stay ahead, and we get a good exit, but now the two Red Bulls will be in frame, and I am concerned after seeing what happened to Lando Norris. We're going to find ourselves on the inside. Russell's there. I'm going to wince. Oh, please don't take me out. The two Red Bulls do make contact with us. We get a warning for collision. They definitely pincered me there. That could have been calamities. That could have been a DNF. You just saw what happened to Lando Norris's AI as we make a really desperate dive to come back at Gasly, because at that point I was quite pissed off at the two Red Bulls being so aggressive with me, and more so just because that's allowed Verstappen to get away. The game plan was to try and stick with Verstappen as much as we could on the harder compound, knowing that we'll be on a quicker one maybe later, if indeed we are going to have to make that extra pit stop. Is there's another Mercedes? Oh my God! It's a Mercedes in the air! Doohan getting all the air time. If that was a scoreboard, it'll be up for 10. Stuck the landing, well, not quite. Right, well, I've lost count. Third safety car of the day. We've had 2 red flags, 3 safety cars, 1 VSC. It's really been a race of attrition here. Is the air time that Doohan's got there. You feel like he's taking off for a flight back to Australia with that one. I mean, bloody, the Audi's actually the one that's helped him get so much air, and then the Toyotas come in to finish the job off. It's really been a very aggressive one for the AI today, as under this safety car, 20 laps to go, Verstappen stays out, and I'm making note of that because the Red Bull of Gasly is in, and what? Russell's in as well. That's very odd. So it's going to be a double stack for the... Why would they do that? Why would you choose to do that on the safety car? They're coming in. Russell's now going to lose a load more positions because of that double stack. And is he on softs? Did he just go to softs? I think Gasly did as well. What is this Red Bull strategy? Fair enough getting a free pit stop under safety car, but onto softs? I officially have no idea how this race will end. I thought Red Bull were going to be right there with us fighting, but now I'm not too sure. Got free pit stop, but onto softs. How do you want to play that one? As we restart this safety car and Verstappen going slow, not deploying, and this is a typical thing on F125 for some reason. The AI are horrible at the safety car restarts, and we are going to use that to our advantage and try and get Verstappen into turn 1. We're side by side. Verstappen has the better launch though. We're using battery, but Verstappen, maybe just saving the battery into turn 1, had more to use then as we get it down the inside. A little bit of contact. It's our teammate, of course. We've got to be a bit extra careful, but at this point of the race, I have the advantage maybe, because you feel Verstappen's mediums will be wearing and will already be second hand, but he's Max Verstappen. He's doing so well, and he's actually minced me. He's got back down the inside and re-overtaken us. Even with warm mediums, he has managed to get back up into P1, and this is maybe turning out to be the first real proper wheel-to-wheel scrap we're having with our teammate Max Verstappen, and was it 95, 96 rated Max Verstappen as we go from right to left on the outside. We're both trying to jockey for position into the corner. We give him the room to work with, but we are just going to launcher it on the outside, and I was actually expecting to put up more of a fight, so that's why I kind of backed off a little bit, but we just used the DRS to get ahead and stay ahead in P1, but make no mistake, Verstappen will stick with us on to lap 22. We're the only ones fighting each other. The next car is 2.5 seconds down the road, as Verstappen now is the one with DRS. We're a sitting duck. I don't even bother to deploy. We're down to 7% battery. There was no point deploying there. Instead, we'll try and get the second bite of the cherry with a second DRS zone here, and using all the battery we have down to 3% as we're on the outside. Verstappen defends. Can we, for the second time, try and dance this around the outside? Didn't work out the first time. I don't know if it's going to work out this time. We're so close to making contact. This is turning into epic stuff with Verstappen. It's good to actually finally fight him toe-to-toe, and to be honest, right now, he's got the measure of us, but surely surely we are going to get this at some point. We have the better race car. I don't even know how many laps we're now into this medium stint of his, but his is surely going to be on the edge of needing to come in very soon. But I can't get Verstappen on lap 23. We have to sit behind him for another lap on 24 and now try and go for it. There's a big snap. There you go. Surely this is the moment. This is the lap. I practically push him up the hill in Sector 1. He is on his last legs with that tyre compound, and yet he still dives it down the inside. As I can see, Bortoleto from nowhere has...
remember your teammates.
Oh, okay. Mark reminding us to be a bit careful and not make any contact with our teammate. Well, you know what? We're going to, at the same time, just send it. That was a bazooka down the inside. And no contact made, Mark. No contact made that time. And I think that just shows maybe Verstappen's tyres are donezo, because that was from so far back. We had no right to make that overtake work, but... We've done it. But I think Verstappen's probably going to come in, I think, on this lap or the next one. But I was going to say... Bortoleto, 1.2 behind in P3. Where has he come from? He was P16 at one point, so I think Bortoleto has gained a lot in the safety car periods. Maybe he did a free pit stop at some point, maybe on that second safety car, I don't know. But Verstappen's in, Lawson as well. Bortoleto also came in, by the way, so he's matching Verstappen. We're continuing on. Leclerc's in P13 right now with Albon P12, so those two are going to try and recover. Russell as well, P14, so we've got some big names fighting each other for, well, at the moment, no points. We continue on to lap 26 because I had to extend that stint. Remember, we're coming onto mediums, those lot onto hard, so I had to go a bit longer, even if it probably means we're going to lose track position here, because the mediums, you saw the first stint on the medium, they weren't going longer than about 11 laps, and I wanted a better medium tyre, as good of a one as I could get. So I feel like 10 laps to go is a good time to come in for the mediums and really give us a good chance to, really push them. As you see, look at that. The two Ferraris side by side into turn one. Bortoleto ahead of Albon. So bit of inter-team fighting here, and Albon maybe a little bit annoyed that Bortoleto's been able to get ahead of him somehow after being so far ahead in this race. But the two Ferraris side by side slowing each other up, and this is playing into my hands. This is perfect for me. This is what we want to see. So we can try and maybe get past those two in quick succession and get on to Verstappen, who does lead and has got once again a 2.4 gap. He's got very good at doing that in this race so far. Putting cars at arm's length is... Whew. Did we just try and make a move there on Albon? I kind of forgot I tried to make that move there on Albon, and well, thankfully we didn't commit, otherwise that would have been a crash. And now I'm going to have to wait until the next lap, lap 28, I think. Meanwhile, Leclerc behind, P5, Russell P6. So, to be fair to Russell, he was the one who got caught up in that double stack. He's actually recovered quite well to P6. I don't really still understand Red Bull's strategy, but there you go, as Albon locks up at just the sight maybe of us coming at him into turn one. Then we scare him off the road, and we're up into P3 now, and we'll get our head down to try and chase after Bortoleto. We've got DRS, I think, just under 1 second, but Albon is still crucially there as well, and that's going to be a little bit of a worry, because also I don't have too much battery to also overuse to get away. And I say that because on lap 29, we're down to single digits. I can't afford to use more battery here, because otherwise we'll have nothing to re-overtake Albon with. And I say that because he is going to pass us, because the DRS is that crazy there. He's so far back and he gets us. And this is annoying now, because we've got nearly 6 laps now to go after this one, and we're still not even past Bortoleto. We need to get back into his DRS. And on to lap 30, Verstappen has got Bortoleto at an arm's length, but the gap is coming down. It was 2.4, it's now 2.2, 2.1 maybe, but we are getting away from Albon. Albon's fallen off now, his pace, and instead we focus on Russell versus Leclerc. So Russell, maybe with an extra pit stop with that soft compound, has made it work, and he might be coming back through for a top 5. But again, Leclerc and Russell and Bortoleto all proving me right. These guys have been so bulletproof. Like, they can be down in P18 at some point in the race. They've made it back into solid points, and this is why all of us are the top 5 in the championship as it stands, as Russell makes the overtake, but Leclerc comes back at him. So it's a real fight here. I thought Russell was just going to going to walk away with that move, but no, Leclerc defies the Red Bull Ford, and in the McLaren, Marlborough car gets back up into P5 on the outside. It's a fantastic overtake for the man from Monaco. As for Shaw's P7, really good position for Benetton. Maloney P8 for Honda, and Audi is still in the points in P9. Fair play to Crawford for the Audi team. Lawson P10, so double points for Honda. They'll be a bit happy about that. It's a close fight in the midfield for those lower teams compared to the the top 4 teams, as it were. But we go on to the last lap, and I'm afraid to say, I am nowhere near Bortoletto. You can see I've had the pace to get 6 seconds on Albon, but I don't know what happened to Bortoletto. He just went on demon time, and I could not catch him. I was pulling away so much from Albon, but we couldn't catch Bortoletto, nor could we do anything on Verstappen. Verstappen just came alive in that last stint, and he's won it. It's his 2nd race win of this season. He becomes the 2nd repeat winner of the season. And in an episode where I mentioned his run of form lately, he's answered those critiques, and he's come back through with a brilliant result. And Bortoletto as well. How did he manage to stay ahead of us? I have no clue.
A sensational drive once again. Max Verstappen takes the checkered flag.
The race victory and fastest lap as well today really shows the level of dominance that this driver had over the opposition. Dominance from the start to finish, and it's for the rest of the competition to try and catch them now.
And the top 3 venturing onto the podium to begin the celebrations. Max Verstappen has been here before. Another win in Formula 1.
Feeling hard done by in that race, because I just genuinely don't know where Bortoletto and Verstappen got that pace in the last stint. Maybe just the medium was the wrong choice for us at the end, but we're still leading the championship now at this point. But we know with the second half coming, it's still going to be so competitive, so we cannot rest on our laurels. And Verstappen has announced himself back into the fight with a great win to jumpstart a kind of second part of the season, so to speak. Guys, though, if you've enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.